Hey everyone, and welcome to Evo Boot Camp 2018. My name's Ivan over there.
Julien, welcome to the show. This is the show that takes you through one fighting game each week based on the fighting game list that Evo has provided with us. There are 8 fighting games, and we intend to at least try to cover the ones that we know about the most. And I'll tell you, Evo is a very complicated and overwhelming weekend for both the people involved and the people trying to watch. So that's why we're making this series for you. Today, Yvonne, what is the game we're going to talk about?
We're talking about Virtua Fighter.
Virtua Fighter 5, the game that came out on the PlayStation 2. No, I don't know. I think it came out on 360.
Dragon Ball Fighterz, boyo.
That's what we're talking about. I got to get a kitten out of my room before she dies from overheating. Yvonne,
Yo.
my room is very hot, but Dragon Ball Fighterz is a very new fighting game. Did you know that?
I did, actually. This is one of the only things I ever have known about fighting games. So let's get into it right now. So, Julian, it's the first year for one of the newest and most anticipated fighting games for EVO 2018. It is Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I messed up.
You don't pronounce the Z. It's just Fighters, but it's a Z instead of an S.
But it's Dragon Ball Z.
I know, it should have been Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That would have made more sense somehow.
They're the Z Fighters.
They are the Z Warriors in the show.
I don't understand why they're the Z Warriors either.
I don't think that's ever explained.
Is it just because it's Dragon Ball Z? We're like, hey, we've teamed up. We're the letter of the alphabet that is represented by the series.
Honestly, I think it's actually mentioned once by the announcer. He calls them the Z Warriors. The guy next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Man, your voice is very sultry today. You know what else is pretty sexy? Dragon Ball Fighterz.
Yes.
Anyway, this is a cool game. It's first year at EVO because it's a pretty brand new game. It came out earlier this year, and it's one that both of us have experienced. You have a lot more experience than I do, of course. FGC champ.
Of the team.
Jujubee's good over there.
That's me. Represent.
But I have had a lot of fun with this game, and not only have I had a lot of fun, my girlfriend was like, "Can you put this game on a fighting stick for me, please?" I was like, "No."
That's a lot of money.
Like $300, sure. I'll get you the stuff. But other than that, no.
Yeah,
anyway,
playing fighting games.
This is a quite fun game for,
expensive.
I think, a lot of people, and this is going to be a lot of high-level competition. So, how did this game come about?
So, I think the interesting thing about this game is it is its first year at EVO, and people have only really had about half a year with it. I believe it did come out this year. It didn't come out last year, right?
It came out in February, I think.
Okay, yeah. So they will have only had about half a year with the game. So that means the meta of the game is still evolving. So as we speak, it's not set in stone by any means. So I think that's really cool to think about. And as we'll see at EVO, things will probably have changed from now until then. But that being said, the core mechanics of the game do not change. This game is a 3v3 tag team fighting game, a la Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So I think the interesting thing that is that the EVO organizers decided to include this game over Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which came out this year as well, I believe. That game sort of fizzled out as Capcom has decided to stop supporting it, and there was a lot of controversy based off of how the game looked and all those things. But
that
honestly,
was almost immediate.
Yeah, it was very, very immediate. But that being said, that game is so fun. The Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, just to play, that game is super fun and super imaginative in terms of based on combos you can do and the things you can do in that game. Just no holds barred. Is that the name? That's the saying, no holds barred?
Yes.
No barred holds.
Bruh.
Nailed it. That game is really fun. But that being said, this game, Dragon Ball Fighterz, is a little less imaginative in terms of character uniqueness. I believe every character, basically, they all have a couple of moves. They have maybe 3 or 4 special moves that they can do, and they're all really executed in the same way. So it's just quarter circle forward or quarter circle back, and a button. And but where it lacks in particular character uniqueness, it makes it up in team synergy. So you have 3 different characters, and they can all come in with an assist move, and basically you can tag them in at any time, which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, it's a very versatile kind of setup where you can bring, although the characters might not be so differential in how their moves are set up, there are some differences in how they play in terms of being able to space, or being melee based, or having that ability to have that ranged attack. So it is still a little variation, even if it's not quite the combo fiasco that a melee is.
Right, exactly. And this game sort of falls. So fighting games can generally, if we exclude for the moment Super Smash Bros. Series, fighting games generally fall into 3 different categories. You have your 2D fighting game like Street Fighter, you have your 3D fighting game like Tekken, and then you have your anime-ass fighting games, which are ridiculous, and they're typically made by Arc System Works. Arc System Works, I think, is the developer that makes most of these games. They make Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball Fighterz, and I don't think they make Blaze Blue. They might make Blaze Blue, but those are the 3 games. Oh my god! Well, would you know it? So they make a lot of the games that are going to be played at EVO. 3 of them, to be in particular. That being said, the difference between, say, like Street Fighter and type games and an anime game is the amount of movement you can do in the air. So, or at least on a basic level. You can air dash in these games, and that becomes a huge factor into the gameplay. You can air dash, which means if you do the dash motion, which is typically forward or back really quickly, then you'll do a short dash forward. So you can get up and then over your opponent very quickly, and that allows for really fast gameplay to cross up your opponent's guard. And so it really plays around your manipulation of your opponent's guard, as opposed to just mixing them up on one side. You are constantly attacking them on many sides, and from many high and low. And so that being said, there's a lot of different things you can do with defense, but it becomes really fast paced, which is what I was trying to get at.
Which is also something that I think it lends itself to being a bit more fun to watch. But again, at the same time, as much as fast-paced anime is lovely to watch in the cartoons, does it lend itself to a very challenging game? I know that the initial critique for a lot of the initial critiques of Dragon Ball Fighterz is that some of the combos are too easy. Is it a game that follows suit with the enhanced edition of let's make it easier for people to make all of the combos that look nice?
Well, I think that Dragon Ball Fighterz did a really cool thing with their combo system. I mean, they have 2 basic combos that are called auto combos for every single character. You just mash square, or I guess it's X for the Xbox controller. You just mash that a couple times and you pull off this cool move where you hit them a couple times, you hit them up, and then you smash them down. If you press triangle in the same way, you'll hit them, and then you'll finish it with a level 1 super. And mind you, this game has 7 bars of meter on the bottom of the screen as opposed to Street Fighter's 3 bars, and Marvel vs. Capcom had 5 bars of meter, so this game's just over the top. Let's give them 7 bars.
You've never seen
this
before
you've never
in a
seen
fighter.
this many supers.
It's over 5.
That being said, though, people have found some really cool, unique ways to extend their combos beyond just the auto combo. The auto combos for the noobs, you know what I mean? But that being said, the game is very accessible. You can just play it with your buddies and have a really great time and still feel like you've done something. So, as opposed to just mashing buttons. You're mashing buttons, but you're actually doing combos this time, as opposed to just mashing buttons.
So there is some
cool.
skill allowable within this variety of easy combo mash, which you can do when you're playing at the basic level, which is one of the things that we're going to be looking for. Where is that baseline of how you manage to switch up your opponent and do the kinds of things that are higher level skill than the basic mash, 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 punish, whiff, punish, whiff, punish. So we're going to look for extending combos in an interesting way. What are the ways that we can extend combos in this game, unique to this game, and especially at a higher level?
Well, unique to, I think, this game and Guilty Gear have a similar mechanic where if you land a heavy hit, or I think in Guilty Gear it's called a special, or Duster, that's what they call it in Guilty Gear. It's pretty much the same mechanic in this game. This game is broken down to, instead of Street Fighter's light, medium, heavy punch, light, medium, heavy kick, it's broken down to light, medium, and heavy attack. And then you have your 2 assists on 2 separate buttons, and then you have your key blast on 1 button. Which is, every character has a ranged attack in this game because Dragon Ball Z is cool like that. But if you land a heavy hit, your opponent's going to go flying either forward or up, depending on if you landed it with a directional input. If you then press heavy again, you'll immediately follow them either up into the air where you can continue your combo, and then back down where you can then extend with, usually I believe people extend with their assist move, and then continue their combo and generally finish it with a super, which looks pretty cool. So that's the general cadence of a combo in Dragon Ball Fighterz, I would say. After opening up their defense, you want to land that heavy hit.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's unique about the throws in this game?
The throws in this game are pretty cool in that I believe it's called Dragon Rush in this game. The throw isn't like your typical Street Fighter throw or even Guilty Gear, where you just push 2 buttons or just 1 button and you end up throwing them forward or back. What it is you can... The Dragon Rush is actually sort of a dash, so it has a range to it. So you can... Typically you want to use a throw to catch your opponent guarding. If you know your opponent's going to be guarding, you can break their guard immediately just by throwing them. And this can do just that, or it can be used to reset or extend a combo at the end. But it is a ranged grab, so you'll see the character dash forward a little bit, and then they'll do this cool little animation, and then they just hit them. And it's pretty much the same animation for every character, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about the burst ability?
The burst ability is sort of like if anyone played Marvel vs. Capcom or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you know of X Factor, and that was sort of the comeback mechanic. So this is a very similar technique. You can use it once per match, and it allows you to heal a lot faster the health that you've lost. So when you get hit in this game, you'll see, if you pay attention to the life bar, if you're just trying to understand what's going on in the game, you'll see the life bar. Once you've hit your opponent, you'll see part of their life bar turn blue. That part of their life bar can still be recovered if they switch out their character that's being hit. If they use burst, however, that health is just going to start recovering. So There's a certain amount of life that you health bar that you can recover, and that's what the burst does. It also makes you a little more powerful, I believe. So it's a comeback mechanic.
There you go. So it can be used to disrupt some combo techniques and different things. So we've got a lot of different variety of things that go into the fighting per se of this game. And what's interesting, I think the most interesting, is that the top players that are from Dragon Ball Fighterz, they're all from a lot of different games. We've got people from the Mortal Kombat series, from the Marvel Infinite
top
series.
8 players. I thought you were referring to the characters in the game. Like, no, man, they're only from Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I think that's really cool. It seems like players have decided to pick this game up as maybe their side passion game, or maybe they're trying to transition into playing this game as their main game. So I think
or some people
awesome.
might have just gotten bored with playing other games and transition into this one.
Yeah.
So some people that are well known across the FGC, like Sonic Fox, have transitioned. Awesome. He's transitioned into being a top tier Dragon Ball Fighterz player. I know that he will still continue his dominance in a lot of other categories, but maybe this is just something that is more interesting as a transitional piece for him moving forward. Other people have transitioned into Dragon Ball Fighterz as a way to get out of the lower rankings in which they're in other games like Marvel Infinite, which is lacking support in terms of the esports and esports FGC community. FGC community is like ATM machine. FG community. In any case, we have a list of characters that we all love from the Dragon Ball Infinite series. So these range across a lot of different places.
Cinematic universe.
What are a couple of the top tier characters that you think that we'll see and should pay attention to?
I think we'll definitely see a lot of Cell. Perfect Cell. He's a very powerful character in this game. As we say in our past episodes, typically characters that you're looking to pick up that are top tier, quote unquote, are basically characters that have moves that are very fast and convertible and into combos. So if you land one of these moves, you're going to be able to convert it to a lot of damage. That, and also characters being fast, high movement speed is really big. But Cell has a lot of options for him in that respect, and a lot of his moves have frame advantages that some characters, such as the characters that are not on this list, don't have. So we also have Kid Buu. I think he's a pretty cool character. Interesting that the kind folks at Arc System Works decided to give adult Gohan a really powerful set of moves, because
finally some love for Gohan.
Because Akira Toriyama has just shat on him after the Cell Saga. Just like, Gohan sucks now. Sorry, guys. He was only the coolest character in the world after the Cell Saga, but then it just went down straight hill because Chi-Chi made him study. But I also like they included Bardock in the game, Goku's father. He's really powerful. He has these moves that I think he has a move that has armor that's really powerful. So we've also talked about armor moves. Armor moves are moves that come out and you can take a hit while you're through the animation of doing it. So your opponent can't even stop you by hitting you unless they hit you with multiple hits. So I believe Bardock has a armor move. And he also has a very fast super, so I think he's a very good character. I know I've personally struggled when fighting Goku Black, who's from Dragon Ball Super. You can also call him Super Saiyan Rose Goku. You know, no big deal.
Rose Goku.
Rose.
Delicious.
Yeah, I know. There's also a Raspberry Blue Vegito. This game is so dumb, but I love it. That's the fusion between Goku and Vegeta when they use the King Kai earrings, but they've decided to also go Super Saiyan Blue. And I think a character that you might based off of those lists, super ultra powerful characters, Super Saiyan Vegeta, I think we'll see a lot of. He tends to be on a lot of teams, as he does work well with a lot of characters. He has a very good assist, and I think he'll be included a lot in this game on teams. So the other thing, I mean, you can have a good character, but the other layer that this game adds on to is team synergy. So having that really powerful assist, I think Vegeta has a pretty good one, if I'm not mistaken, is really key to a lot of people's combos sometimes. So I think that's another thing that we haven't really talked about, because we haven't talked about a tag team game yet, but that's something to think about.
Right, and that was the question that I had. So going into this kind of game where you have a 3v3 matchup, can you really main a character?
Yeah, you can. That's the thing, right? We saw in Marvel vs. Capcom back in the day that people would be particularly good with a character like Doctor Doom or Morrigan, which sort of had the meta laid out for you. You could be really good, but the thing is, though, the way the meta played out in Marvel vs. Capcom was a team thing. So you really have to main 3 characters in this game, and you have to use them, and you have to become super powerful when they're all alive. But that being said, though, what's going to happen if 2 of them get taken out? At that point, you need to have a backup plan, and you need to be very proficient with one character at the same time. So these games are really complex and super fast-paced, and that's why I'm really bad at them.
So would you say that a person, like, what would make someone better at this game than, say, like a Marvel Capcom game or even a Street Fighter game? So Marvel Capcom obviously is another 3v3, Marvel Infinite 2v2, and Street Fighter is a 1v1 game. So is there a difference in the kind of style of play that we'll see going between those kinds of players?
Well, I think fundamentals in fighting games, besides, well, even Super Smash Brothers, fundamentals carry over. So I think it is valuable to play more than one fighting game, just to grow as a player. I find myself, I love Tekken 7, but I love playing other fighting games as well. So I find that some things carry over. Just understanding, just gathering information on your opponent. You still should do that in the same pretty much systematic way. I throw out this move, they react with this move, I'm going to counter with this move next time. So now I have to think 2 moves ahead. That type of mentality can really get you pretty far, at least in terms of beating your friends anyways. But that being said, this game...
is how Julien kicks my ass consistently.
These games are... You just have a memory. These games are a lot more aggressive than say, like Street Fighter, or even with Street Fighter V being a more aggressive game than Street Fighter 4, than Street Fighter, and even maybe Tekken. These games are a lot more aggressive and fast-paced, so you'll see people throwing out some unsafe moves sometimes, just because you can get lost in the chaos in the game, and so just throwing out a move sometimes can net you some luck. So we'll see things, and of course specifically this game, because this game is, people have only been playing it for 6 months. They've been playing it before, but there have only been tournaments for 6 months, so we'll see some crazy stuff in this tournament, I think, and it'll be exciting.
It'll be exciting to see, is somebody going to whip out a strategy that is specific
that would be
for
fun,
Evo?
Yeah.
Especially in the top tier brackets. We'll see how these superstars of the FGC can really shine on stage at the Mandalay Bay. Who are some of the superstars that we're looking to see how they will whip out these core mechanics of a fighting game, and maybe some new meta strategies?
Well, I'll tell you, Ivan, I looked some people up. and I was not too surprised at the list.
That's why I threw it over to you, so that
thank
you
you.
could get into this.
We already talked about Sonic Fox, but we should tell you about his winning streak that has been going on. He is a Kid Buu. You'll typically see him play a mix of these characters: Kid Buu, Cell, Android 18, and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. And of course, he's from the United States, and his trademark is his Fox hat that he will never take off except for that one time. I hope he's taking showers with it too. But basically, he came in 5th in CEO 2018, which was actually the most recent tournament of the year for a lot of fighting games. He came in 1st in Northwest Majors X, 2nd at Summit of Power, 1st at DreamHack Austin, which was a pretty big tournament for the game, and 1st at Combo Breaker. And you'll see that a lot of these tournaments were held in America. So I believe this is because a lot of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 players picked up this game because it was just the new tag fighting game, and that game was pretty much dominated by Americans as well. So that being said, I think Sonic Fox stands a good chance to win EVO. He's really good at this game. Yeah.
That also being said, of the top 10 players, half are not United States based.
Yeah, also true. Half of them are not. But
4 are Japanese and 1 French person.
But 3 of them are. Yeah, I think it's a definitely way more of a mix of nationalities than any other game that we'll see at EVO. Typically, fighting games dominated by Japan or South Koreans. So I think that's exciting, and we'll see some people that maybe you want to cheer for.
Melee tournament. But
yeah, in
speaking
which case
of
we don't
the
talk
Japanese,
yes.
Go One.
Tell me about him.
Go One is a strong competitor from Japan. He's currently ranked number 1 in the overall rankings on SRK data, and he's a Super Saiyan Vegeta and Bardock main. He has placed 2nd at CEO, which is pretty up there in terms of
big.
tournaments.
That was a huge tournament.
1st at Summit of Power 2018, 1st at 10,000 Millennial Esport DBFX tournament.
Who's naming these things?
I don't know. 2nd at Combo Breaker, which is again a big tournament, and 1st at Stunfest 2018. So he's had a pretty solid 2018, especially going into EVO. I'm expecting to see some very exciting play from some Saiyans and a Saiyan-infused character in Cell.
Yeah, I think we will see people go Super Saiyan at this tournament. Next up, we have you're already Super Saiyan all the time. It's like you were in the hyperbolic time chamber or something.
Yeah, but my hair doesn't go up enough.
Yeah, well,
I really considered
get some gel.
Gelling it
gel.
up hard.
NY Chris G, he's basically, he was the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 champion. He was the last person to win EVO, I believe, because it was he won in the last year. And of course, he's from New York, represent. I think he's had some trouble, I guess, in some of these tournaments, particularly CEO. He came in 17th. Northwest Majors, though, he came in 2nd. But then again, I don't think that, well, maybe at a Majors. I don't know the population of the players. Again, these placings depend on who's at the tournament, so I don't know.
So at that one, Sonic Fox took number 1.
Right, exactly. And then he came in 13th at Summit of Power, 2nd at DreamHack, which is huge. He lost again to Sonic Fox, though. And then 4th at Combo Breaker 2018. Hopefully some of these Marvel vs. Capcom techniques carry over, and we'll see him at EVO.
It looks like he's seen some mixed results recently. Some stronger results when the game was just coming out.
Right.
Some 1st and 2nd places. But recently, 13th and 17th at some premier tournaments does sound a little bit like maybe he's either struggling or throwing out some new combos looking
NYXL.
for how to break in.
NYXL.
He is
NYXL Chris G.
definitely sandbagging everything.
It's all about Evo.
Another United States-based player that we'll look out for is Hook Gang.
Gucci Gang. Hook Gang.
Yes.
He's a legend.
Another guy who plays Cell and Vegeta, but interestingly enough, also plays one of my favorite Dragon Ball characters.
Oh, Piccolo.
I
love Piccolo. Special Beam Cannon! You can use it in the game. It's pretty sick.
You will remember that it is Piccolo who first killed Goku in Dragon Ball Z.
And it was first Goku who first killed Piccolo in Dragon Ball, right? He did a headbutt through him, didn't he?
Did he kill Piccolo? I don't remember.
Well, you can't really kill Piccolo. No, Piccolo then spat out a egg which had the Piccolo that's in Dragon Ball Z. King Piccolo in Dragon Ball, killed by Goku, but at the last second,
Piccolo of Dragon Ball Z,
yes,
who is
that's
nicer
why they look
and
different.
trains Gohan, and hence he is my favorite character
Great.
other than Gohan.
Great man.
Because Piccolo is the best. Merges with Nail and Kami and all that. Does
Super
everything that he
Saiyan
can, and you know
Piccolo.
what Hook Gang God has done? He's merged with Nail and Kami to place at some of the top-ranked tournaments. He's done very well this year. 5th at CEO, 1st at Summit of Power, 3rd at DreamHack Austin, 5th at Combo Breaker. He's
Big
had
moves.
a very promising 2018. Again, this game only came out in January, so that's pretty, standard.
Yeah.
But he's had a pretty promising showing, never placing lower than 5th outside of the very first tournament of the year. So I think he has a pretty good chance of being a top-ranked player in this EVO tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Hook Gang God take on some of the top players of this game. Next up, we have the Kill Sage. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Anyways,
gamer of gamers.
Look, I don't blame him for his name, but I blame him for picking Adult Gohan and not... I know. Adult Gohan's great in this game, but I just can't respect him as a character in the show. He had to settle down. Anyways,
but he has switched up a lot of his mains.
Yeah,
I mean, he's had Android 16 be a mainstay, but this most recent CEO tournament, he picked up Gotenks.
Right, very exciting. But he did, however, finish 7th at CEO. Perhaps not when he was ready to play Gotenks, but we'll see if him play some sweet Gotenks in EVO, perhaps. He also placed 13th at Summit of Power, 7th at DreamHack, and 9th at Combo Breaker. So only 2 top 8 finishes for him in the past 4 tournaments, I believe. So that's not looking so good for the Kill Sage, but he is still in the top 8. So you'll see that maybe all these top 8 players don't have the best record, and that's because there have been people throwing out strategies that maybe they're not so familiar with, and the game is still evolving. So I think that's really cool.
To be fair, he placed 1st at the tournament before those last 4.
I know.
So, to be fair,
I'm trying to stick with the most current tournaments because I believe the game has changed a lot since then. But we'll see. We'll see how it changes towards EVO.
All right. Next, Japanese surgeon of the DBZ sphere.
Yeah.
A guy who plays some of the most intense Kid Buu I've seen.
Kid Buu. That guy is crazy.
Dagura, or Dagura. I'm pretty sure I don't know how to pronounce
What
his
was
name.
the name of that weird vampire character in Dragon Ball Z that was pink? Demura or something?
What?
You remember him. He would spit on you and turn to stone. He was in the Majin Buu series. He had an M on his head. Not the pink spiky guy in the Frieza saga. But...
Not very positive.
Alright, well, anyways. Dagura came 4th in CEO, so that's a big finish for him. 9th at Summit of Power, 3rd at Combo Breaker, and 2nd at Sunfest. Big moves for Dagura. Can he take home the gold? We will see. He's from Japan, too. I think someone that a lot of people from the Street Fighter V community will be watching at EVO is Kazunoku. So I think this is crazy, by the way. He's a Street Fighter V player, and he's very good at Street Fighter V. So will he enter in both tournaments is the question. Kazunoku plays Kid Buu, Bardock, Adult Gohan, and that's a huge thing to do because all of the tournaments take place in one weekend. So can he muster up the energy to play in both tournaments? Is it even possible based on scheduling? I don't know. I just don't know, Ivan. I think it's exciting, though.
Also a pretty damn good Guilty Gear player.
Yes, I know. This guy's from Japan. Which is also a game that will be at EVO. Can he enter in 3 tournaments? Can he take home gold in all the tournaments? I don't know if that's true. I would assume pools would be really hectic for him, and that would be really bad because I would assume the pools all take place at the same time, or some of the pools do, and then he would have to switch games on the same day. I think that would be very difficult to play at such a high level. But that being said, this guy came first at CEO 2018, the most recent tournament as of the recording of this video, 5th at Summit of the Power, and 5th at Combo Breaker. Big moves for Kazunoku. I hope to see him do well in whatever tournament he enters.
Yes, and last but not least on our list of people to watch out for on the Dragon Ball Fighterz. Because it's super cool. Rakiel.
Yes. I was trying to power up, sorry.
No, I mean, it's fine. I tried to power up in real life when I was like 8 or 10.
I did too. I think I busted a vein in my head. Oh, God. I really tried. But this guy didn't do so well at CEO. He's a Kid Buu main, Cell, Bardock. These are standard characters in the game, so maybe he's not standing up to the top 7 above him. 17th at CEO, 3rd at Northwest Major is a big outing for him. 13th at Summit of Power, 4th at DreamHack, and 17th at Combo Breaker. Combo Breaker. So 2 top 5 finishes for him. That's pretty big. But the rest are below top 8, which is not so good. So a very mixed outing for him. But we'll see.
But I think the crazy thing is just like how many of these people have come from different games. So we have people who are Guilty Gear players, people who are Street Fighter players, people who like Sonic Fox do a whole bunch of different games, including, he's in
Mortal
Injustice,
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of...
I feel like he played Smash 4 for a bit too. But I guess not.
There's a lot of variety of where these people are coming from in terms of their core basics, and then merging this into the 3v3 tag team. So you also have people who are coming from Marvel, but you have people who are, I just assume, are just interested in a Dragon Ball game that's done well. So you've got people who are also Arc Systems Games fans.
Definitely.
I'm intrigued in how this tournament is going to play out. I don't really think I have a dark horse candidate just because I think everyone could win.
It's true.
This is a tournament that's super new for a very new game. Do you have an idea of who you think is going to be the favorite, hands-on favorite to win this tournament?
I think Sonic Fox is a big favorite to win. I think he's shown that he is one of the best players in this game consistently. We see a lot of these top 8 players, they're coming in below 5th place, not even placing top 8 at every tournament they play. It seems to me Sonic Fox is consistently in the top 8 of most, if not all, the tournaments that he's gone to this year. So I really think Sonic Fox has a really good chance of taking it all for this game.
I won't disagree. I don't think that. I'll go pretty chalk too. I think Sonic Fox has the best chance, unless he's so focused on other kinds of tournament gameplay that he'll do anything. I don't know what he's signed up for. So if this is his biggest focus, then I think this will be the game for him.
Mm-hmm. That's true. He does play a lot of different games, so we'll see what Sonic Fox does. But that being said, Ivan, I think this game, unlike Super Smash Bros. 4, which we talked about last year, is absolutely worth picking up. This game came out this year, so you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be support at least through the year and well into next year. That being said, though, Arc System Works typically releases a second version of the game, sort of like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They're separate games. So that being said, I do anticipate that this game will have sort of quote-unquote Ultimate Dragon Ball Fighterz edition or something like that. Maybe they'll call it a different name. I'm not entirely sure what they'll call it. And they'll have a pretty big update in terms, if you're paying attention to the game mechanics and the way the game works. If you're just a casual player, you might not notice too much of the difference between the two versions, so it might not be a big deal. But that being said, just manage your money if that's something that concerns you, and maybe wait if that's something you want to consider. But I think this game is worth picking up. I think it's really accessible to a lot of people, and I really like this game a lot. And it looks sick. Come on.
I agree. It is completely fun to pick up just at a casual level. You'll feel like you're Animu completely.
As soon as you pick it up.
And then it leads to some pretty epic battles. The initial damage that you do at lower levels of key are pretty minuscule, so it leads to some really anime style powering up and different things. And then if you play Julien and you're a super casual player, he will kick your ass, but you will feel bad about yourself afterwards.
Yeah, well, look, I'll say that I love this game. I wish I had more time to play it. Maybe we'll play it this weekend, Ivan, on my stream. But until then, Ivan, what is there to look out for on our channel? I don't know. We have a podcast every Monday, though.
We do.
I think that's worth listening to. We're sort of scrambling now because it's July 4th weekend, so we have yet to plan out the next week's worth of content, but I'll be telling you, I think we're going to talk about Guilty Gear Revelator 2. I'll have to do some research for that one because that's a game I don't even own. I did play the first one, though. So I think because there was Guilty Gear Xrd, which doesn't really make sense as a name. Then there was Guilty Gear Revelator, Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator, and now there's Guilty Gear. See what I'm saying with Arc System Works? This is like the same. All three of these games are the same game to me. This is anime-ass anime games. We'll talk to you next week, guys. Keep the comments going in the comment section below, and see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Bye.